and welcome to the Game Dev Local podcast. I am your host, Emily, and I'm joined with my longtime friend from university. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Sadie. I'm possibly the most Yorkshire woman you will ever meet.
This is
So you're
very
going to have
true.
two very strong accents in this podcast.
We've got Scouse and Yorkshire. It's just great.
Yeah, there's like...
So, tell us a
I'll
bit
try and
about
pronounce.
yourself. Give us a bit about yourself.
So I am I am an elder in the community. No, let me start that again. That one really bad. Right. So, my name's Sadie and all that jazz, and I work for a furniture company at the moment. I originally did game art at uni, and we're going on the scenic route to get to that end goal at the moment because it's fun. At the moment, the industry is fun.
It's not painful at all.
No. So I'm doing scenic route at the moment, and I make mundane objects for a living. That's my job.
That's like your dream job, though.
Yeah, it really is like at uni. That's all. I just wanted to make bog roll, and I stand by that. I still do.
So, tell us a bit about the job. Give us a bit.
The job.
What's it like? What's day to day like?
It's well, first hour we have a good decompress because many people on the team also have ADHD. So when we all are together, it's like hell yeah. There's no like calm. So we have to get that zoomies out of the way, as we call it. But then usually it's modelling. So we get given a product that's going to sell online. We model it, texture it, do white background, so it's just the model. And then we do scenes where it's like lifestyle images. So then it's like playing The Sims. It's great. That's my job.
Favourite game of all time.
Yeah.
A thing to know about Sadie, guys, is she loves Minecraft and Sims.
Yeah. I have a tattoo of Plum Bob on the back of my neck, and I'm proud of it.
That is your best tattoo to this day.
It is, yeah. I'm never going to top it, ever. Just stopping now, that's it.
Right, so I'm going to just go straight into the big question here. Would you recommend uni for games art, like for getting into games?
It's a hard question because it depends on how much you're willing to take from it. So like I think me and you had very different experiences, as I went as a mature student. Yeah. So I'd already been to uni, dropped out, and then went back. So like that was a weird, it's like I can't fail this, I've got to pass this and actually graduate, I can't try again.
Yeah, you were like proper doing your work and I was out partying. Like very different paths. But
definitely very different.
Very, honestly. But do you think it's worth doing it, or do you think it's worth just doing a portfolio in your own time? Because personally, for me, I'm kind of torn because I feel like uni did kind of kill a bit of my like creative passion, because obviously you're like, I think doing so much at once, like in your first year, you're just kind of like, what the hell?
This is a lot.
Like this, I've only just joined this course and I'm already having to build a 3D environment. What do you mean? I don't even know what this app is. So I think for me, I want to say yeah, because obviously we learn a lot. Still to this day, have not touched 3ds Max. That is the bane of my existence. I'm not.
That's my job.
You were always good at it though. He was always there, like, no, Blender, that's it. That's as far as we're getting.
I don't know why. It's like, make it as complicated as possible. Yeah, I understand it. But if you give me a simple instruction, nah, it's not happening.
I used to just watch you on, like, ZenBrush and stuff and just be like, how have you learned how to do this through that, 5-minute video we got shown?
I don't know. I generally cannot tell you. Because I use it at work as well. We've got it downloaded. And we've got like little mouse mats and everything that we can draw on. And he's like, how are you using it? I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
I'm just winging it at this point.
I'm were never good at it, but I could use it.
Would you, right, to narrow the question down, would you recommend our uni to someone for games art?
It's a hard question, that, because we were the first year of it
Yeah.
running,
Were we
which
the first or the
is
second?
obviously first.
Oh,
We were the pioneers, as they
oh my
called
gosh,
us. They were
yeah,
like,
we
now
got
we're
all the
giving it.
fail.
Yeah. But no, we were first year, so like in terms of, because I became student rep, didn't I,
Oh,
in
yeah,
second
yeah,
and
yeah.
third year. So I had to argue, being like, no, fix it. And then it was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work for you though. It's gonna be for future courses. I'm like, oh, okay.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. But so in that sense, it was, if we went back now,
Yeah.
and because I've seen some people at like networking events from Leeds Beckett, and they said it's running really well, and they seem to have got rid of teething problems. So I think definitely it seems to work. And also going back to originally, like, I would recommend it for my experience. I went in originally wanting to do character,
Yeah.
and then I got taught environment, and I was like, I love this. I love this mundane stuff. So like, it was quite nice in that sense to go back and just fully from fresh be like, okay, I'm learning everything brand new. So I took it as, I'm using uni to learn from the very beginning, rather than being like, oh yeah, I can draw people and this, that, and
Yeah.
other, but then trying to relearn it as well.
I think I I went in wanting to do character, and I still very much want to do character, but I think, I guess from my experience, it's about going in and being open to doing other things, because what we've, like, when we've done loads of networking events together, with the main thing that you get told, isn't it, like, you're probably not going to get your first job in what you want to do, so go
Yeah.
for a different, like,
You're
side
like,
route.
okay.
And I think after finishing uni is when I more learn, I guess, to be like, oh no, I actually don't want to do this anymore. It's like, no, I actually want to learn everything else now.
So I think that's another thing with like going back to uni as well. Like when I originally went to uni, I went to do graphic design because I was like, yes, I want to make those kind of things, and I hated it. I hated it the entire time I was at uni, and I ended up dropping out after 3 months. Went back to working and then went back to uni. So I think you are forced into going to uni straight away from school. Like that is a big
Yeah.
thing for me. It's like, no, you need to want to
I'd
go.
definitely say taking like a gap is probably better, like, than going straight, because I took a year out before I went to uni, and that's when I realised, oh no, I want to do something to do with art, and I was like, oh, I like
Yeah.
games, I like art, put them together, I'll do that. That's
Damn,
what I want to do.
it
I
actually
remember
fits.
playing Resident Evil 2, and I was like, this is really sick, actually. I want to do this. I think,
So I never thought it were a thing.
yeah,
Like
same.
genuinely never
I
thought
I
about
don't
it.
understand how we ever thought that it was ever made. Like, this just appeared, and that's what I
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah, the only reason I kind of started going towards it because I'm working at solicitors, got made redundant. I'm like, stuff this, I'm off to uni, and I was originally going to go do law,
Oh yeah,
which
you were.
which is really bizarre. Like, could you imagine me, a woman with pink and orange hair, representing you in a
I'd
court
be like, I'm
case?
going
Like,
to
it's
prison.
not. But like, and also the Yorkshire accent, like that's on Elf. Can you imagine? Like, so I saw it on clearing for game art, and I was like, actually, that sounds quite cool. And then I applied and was immediately accepted, and it was like, oh, okay, looks like I'm doing this now.
Mine was, I was going to do criminology, like I had written my personal statement out, and it got to the very last day when I had to send it, and I was like, I don't think I want to do criminology. Could you imagine me working like in a police force trying to figure out what had happened? I'd be there going, mate, you're going to have to speak, is there subtitles? Because I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then I remember sitting in a Weatherspoons, and I was like, I don't want to do criminology, actually. I'm going to do this instead.
Like, you know, it makes sense. It's like, No, I want to do something fun.
Yeah, on it.
Like everyone else is doing it, and like I want to do it. I got FOMO.
Got very bad. Our class went from being like probably like 20 people to about 8 people within a year. Like there was like 8 of us left.
Yeah, I think in the end when we graduated, there was 7 of us.
It was like none of us.
There was 7.
I I think our first year was probably not a good like overview of what uni is because it was online, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
we didn't really learn. Well, I didn't learn much from it being online personally. um,
I did
yeah,
apparently
you learned
at that point.
everything apparently.
I don't know how.
I got to third year and was
Completely.
like, right, you're gonna have to show me how to use this because like I don't know what's happening.
I remember being in. So yeah, because we went from being online for the entirety of first year, and then second year it were like half and
Yeah, it was like
half.
we were in
If I
like
remember, like
2 days a week maybe.
I think it was, yeah.
'Cause-
So I remember I had travelled in all the time because it was like I have to be physically in the space, otherwise I can't focus. Like at home, I am useless. Like I can sit on the sofa and watch TikTok for a good hour and be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be like, there's some food in the oven. Oh no, damn! Like that's what I am like. So I need people around me, which was really helpful. And I think you started doing the same as well in third year
yeah.
when you were like, "Oh, you staying behind?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm working. Like I know I look like a swat, but I don't care."
I think that's the thing that I wish I could do differently is like if I could go back in time, I'd be like, actually go in. Don't just wait until your
Yeah,
third year to go in. I think because like I always got my work done on time, and I don't know how because it's like you were not there when that got like given. And that's another thing where I go to uni when you're older because when you're younger you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go party. Like it's fine.
yeah. I think that was like a big thing. Is like because my partner John, he went to uni at like 8, right age, went straight out of school. And then it was like I went and then dropped out, and then I was working whilst he was at uni, and it was like the flip in a way. When I went, it was like, well, I can't go out all the time because it's not really fair when he's got to be up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm staggering in at 6 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. Like it's not on. And also, like, it's expensive. I can't be
It
bothered.
is expensive. I
Just be
remember it
home.
was so cheap when I moved to Leeds, and now you gotta
No,
remortgage your
the
house before
party.
you go on a night out. It's awful. I think,
So,
so for our uni, I don't really know. I don't even know.
it's it's 50-50. I think for like what you actually want. I think is a big thing. Like if I just sat there and researched everything before I went to places, I think that would have made a big
Yeah.
difference. Like I probably wouldn't. I mean, I ended up going to Leeds Beckett because I am from Leeds, Yorkshire, and all that jazz, and it's literally on my
It's about to start
doorstep.
chanting,
So
guys.
basically, so for me, it was sort of like, well, I can stay at home. I don't have to go into accommodation or anything. I mean, I live with John, so it doesn't really matter. But like, so whereas I think, for example, for you, obviously, you've moved to
Yeah.
Leeds to then be in Leeds and stuff. And I don't know if you found it different to be not different, but difficult to be like away from home and being like having
I think
to be there.
I was okay with being away from home, but I think I went into it thinking that it was going to be like harder than A levels, and it was like so much
Mm,
easier. Like I
yeah,
remember doing my A levels, and I was like, "This is hell. I don't want to be in education. Like this is awful." And I was like, "If this is what it's like, I don't want to carry on." And then I went to uni, and it was just so easy that I kind of wish that it was a bit harder because I feel like if it was a bit harder, I'd be like, "No, like I need to do this." Whereas, because it was so
yeah.
easy, it was like, well, like,
You can slack off
yeah,
a
I can
bit
slack
in
off
a
a bit.
way.
And then when I got to third year, I was like, you are not slacking off. Like, you are doing it all. Like, I was there till like 5 most days, just like, oh my gosh, I came in at 9. This is too
It's like a full
early.
time job right now.
I,
But yeah, I think that is a big thing. Is like I think if you are going to go to uni and you're like, hell yeah, I want to go to uni, this is my life, I think research where you're going
Definitely.
and like not just the course, but like the city as well. Like, is a big thing. It's like, is it a big party culture? Is it going to be expected? Because I know apparently it's a common thing now for, I can't remember the name of the generation, but the one before me, not before me, after me,
Is it Zed?
which I think you count as, yeah, maybe I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
One of the generation, the ones that are going to uni now, I can't remember the name of it. But they're not big on drinking as much apparently now. Like, that culture's going.
Yeah, a lot of people are like sober now, aren't they? Whereas
Yeah, which
I feel like when I went
valid.
to uni, that was not the case.
Yeah, so I think that's a thing to like bear in mind. It's like, is it going to affect me massively? Like, I don't mind going to a pub every now and then,
Is it
but
going to be like every night sort of thing? Yeah.
yeah, and then I think it's a mindset is like, oh yes, it's uni. I'm here to learn. It's like, or it's oh yeah, it's uni. I'm here to get like messed up.
I feel
Like,
like for a lot of people as well, it's their first time living like away from like their
yeah,
parents. Whereas I lived on my own when I was 16 to like now, so I'm pretty much like, oh yeah, like I can live on my own sort of thing. Whereas you see like a lot of 18-year-olds going into it, they've not really probably worked much before and stuff.
yeah,
So I'd recommend getting a job before you go, guys.
yeah. I agree on that. I think a part-time job, because my first job was in a pub when I was 16. I was just a bottle kid. That's all I did, and I was still at sixth form. So I've always had that mentality of, well, I need
Yeah,
money, so I need to work. And it's like, well, I don't really want to waste it on booze out of everything.
definitely.
I want to, I'd rather spend it on like Sims expansion packs. Like, that's me. So I do recommend getting a job before you go
Yeah,
to
I'd
uni,
say like
but even if it's just a part-time
I'd
one.
say I just recommend working for a year before you go to uni anyway, because you might realise that that's not what you want to do. Like, because
Yeah.
I left sixth form and I was like, I'm gonna just work. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm not
Mm.
going to uni, and I was dead set on not going to uni. And when I was working for a year, I was like, I think I'm gonna go to uni. I don't think I can continue working in this cafe for another year. Like, I need to go to uni. So
Yeah, I do think it's a big thing. Is like a mentality. Is like, I think because you're so forced in. I don't know if it were at your school, but my high school, it was like, yes, you've got to apply for
yeah.
university. You've got to do it. It's the best experience ever. And it was like, okay, I guess I'll apply to all these places, and then actually don't want to be there when you actually get
Yeah.
there. And
You always got
so
given
like,
like a
yeah, I'm gonna
list
work
as
for a
well,
bit.
didn't you, of where to apply and stuff. Like Leeds was
Yeah, and
never
like,
on the list for me. It was always like John Moores, Uni of Liverpool. I don't want to go there. I want to move away.
like I'm fed up of being here.
Please. I think
So I think that is a big thing,
yeah,
definitely.
I think going to uni when you're like at a more mature level is more helpful than going fresh out of school. Because you get no
Yeah,
time off. It's like you get your summer holidays and then you're moving into this new place. And
yeah,
I don't know, I feel like it can be intimidating. Like, I feel like when in my first year, it was less intimidating because we didn't have to go in.
yeah. So you were able to just chill out at
However, I do miss our old campus in first year. It was so
that
nice.
campus was beautiful.
So nice. It was so hard to get to because I lived in the city centre and it was in Headingley, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like an hour
It's so
walk.
beautiful.
But it was so
Oh,
nice. And then we got moved
so
to
for
the new one, and
context,
I was like, oh, this is just modern. Like, I like the old
no,
one.
it's not fair. So if anyone's wondering actually what uni we went to, because I don't think we've
Oh, yeah, we haven't
actually
actually said
said
it.
it. So we both went to Leeds Beckett.
We went to Leeds, Beckett.
But
Headingley campus is
yeah, when we
beautiful.
started, it was COVID, but then we had like as induction day in person, and it were the Carnegie Headingley campus, and it is a beautiful old
Very
building. That's
beautiful,
another way to describe
honestly. It
it.
was me and Sadie sat in the class with bright pink hair, just sat there. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. If we've like both got similar colours as well, it's like the orange and pink now. I'm like, oh. But
It
yeah,
was,
it's just
I think, you know what helped me the most after uni? I think, because we both did that limit break, didn't we? I think that was
yeah.
really helpful, to be honest. I'd recommend anyone doing that, to be honest. I had a mentor called Mark Fraser. Love him. He was a great mentor, taught me a lot. I'll let you speak about yours.
My mentor. Oh, so mine was Lewis Thompson, I think. I haven't spoken to him in a long time.
I speak to mine
So
every
I
day.
again, I think again with this we've had very different
Yeah.
experiences. So I would recommend Limit Break. I think it's amazing. I think the idea of it is beautiful, but the communication lacked from me for both of us, mostly because I got really shy and I was like, I'm going to come up with an excuse today
Yeah.
because I've not done my work type thing, which is again to do with the ADHD. But I did learn loads from him. Like the actual sessions we had was like rapid and amazing. So it was sort of like it dropped. It were really good and then just dropped
Yeah.
off. Like whereas obviously yours, you're still talking to him now,
Yeah,
which is
I
really
I
sweet.
think that's a thing as well. Like, I think learning from people who are actively still in the industry is more helpful than, well, no, because uni was helpful, but I feel like working with people who are day to day in the industry, like, you know, working on games and stuff, it's like, oh no, you can actually
Yeah,
teach me how to do this. Like, um,
yeah,
my mentor kind of pushed me to like learning about like props, environment, like stuff like that. So I was like, well, yeah, like I very much felt like I need to do this, otherwise he's going to be really upset with me. Obviously, he wouldn't be upset with me. He'd just be like, okay, like he's got other mentees, like he would not care. But I was like, no, myself is telling me that you're going to be upset, so I need to learn this now. So I learned it,
just holding yourself
holding
accountable.
myself accountable. But I still speak to mine like pretty much every day. He's how I met the CEO of the podcast. So yeah, I think it's really. I would recommend that to anyone. To be fair,
Yeah,
have you done like any boot camps that you'd recommend?
I have.
Done loads.
I've not stopped now. I've only done one, but it's next gen skills. Get ready for games boot camp. I think that's the name. And that's with Game Republic and next gen. And I can't help but recommend that so much. It was a 12-week course. We basically have talks every week, and people are like, you basically get a little community.
Yeah.
And it whether you wanted to work in, it was for North Yorkshire, but it was like basically get a job as long as it's related to Yorkshire, as long as it's some form of connection, it's fine. Like, and there were a couple of guys who were making their own studios and stuff, which I think you may have met one of them.
Marco.
He's called Marco.
Marco. I know
Yes, Marco.
Marco.
He's a lovely man. I keep seeing him everywhere. I feel like a proud mum whenever I see him. Like he's doing so well.
Honestly, I'm the same. I see him come up and I'm like, I remember speaking to you at that seminar and now you're at all these events showing your game off.
I know, it's like, oh wow, I've seen him grow. But that's how it feels. That's what I mean about the community. It's like so sweet. And there's another guy called Thomas White who is also making a game, and it's really nice to see his progress. Like it's a bit quieter, but I know he's doing it, and it's quite nice just to watch. But I would recommend that boot camp because it helped with my CV. You know, like the portfolio side of stuff. Like it was really helpful, and it were talks from everyone, like who works in the industry, and it was like, yes, people who actually know what they're talking about. It really helps. So,
I'm currently doing one with Game Academy, which is really good to be fair. So we, you know, it helps with like building your CV and stuff, and like pretty much the same kind of premise. Like you have a little community,
yeah.
you work on little projects together, and I have met so many programmers through it, and I'm just like my brain trying to figure out this maths that you're explaining to me, it's just not like.
Just straight over. Yeah.
So
I'll just make a pretty
yeah, just
picture.
let me like give you this. There's your photo. Do whatever. But I do think
But
like boot camps and like mentorships and stuff like that are
I think they're better
Yeah,
route, definitely a better
definitely.
route.
I think that I kind of wish that our uni had done is focus more on networking, because I feel like we got to our
Mm.
third year and it was like, no, you have to network, go do it, and it was like,
And it's like,
oh my gosh,
okay.
how am I meant to be professional? I can't.
Like,
I
I'm just gonna chug this beer and have a chat
Yeah,
with
like
you.
you're really good at networking, and I'm just there like
Which I think again comes from experience of me working in a pub. It's like you've got to be loud, you've got to be there, and you can't let anyone interrupt you. You're like, no, I'm talking, you will listen.
you will listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, you might not care, and we might be think it's a stupid question, but I'm here.
I
So
I think my thing is I'm always like, scared that they're gonna think that I'm just, one of them people who are gonna pester them and pester them and pester them until they give me a job. And it's like, I just want to speak to you. Like,
I just want
I
to
just
talk to
want
someone,
someone to speak to,
please.
so I'm not stood in this corner with a pint, not speaking to anyone. So I think that's why I wish we had done it earlier, because like I think the people
Yeah,
who are on the course now, I feel like they're always at networking events. Like I always see them
yeah,
coming up on LinkedIn and like connecting with me and stuff. And I'm always like, gosh, yous have like got into it straight
actually,
away. Like we waited until our
actually done
third
it.
year, and then it got. I think it was Marielle went. There's a Gamio event. Like go to it, and we were like, I was like, what
Okay,
is Gamio? I don't know what that
what
is.
is it?
And now our photo is forever used.
Oh yeah, we should have really introduced it. I was like, yeah, we're the face of Gambia. It's me and Emily just stood
Just
in
like
front of the
this.
poster, like,
We don't ever mention the other two people in the photo.
no, it's
It's
us.
just us. Just us.
It's just us. Well, Jackie always says it's me, so I'll take that.
You are the face of Gabia.
I am the face because she made me do it again. It were not this last one, but the one before that were in Wakefield. And she was like, "Oh, you need to pose again." I'm like, "For God's sake!" It's like, make sure you don't do it from below this time. Like, take the photo from above.
It was when you
Like,
sent me it and you went, oh no. Straight away. I was
like,
more bothered about my massive drink that you could see in my hand of me just like, I was like, oh no. It's awful.
but the networking, I wish we'd been told about it a lot
Same,
sooner.
because I thought
Um,
that I felt like how it was explained to us was it wasn't actually explained to us how difficult it is to get in the industry, and I don't know if it's just become more difficult recently because of obviously everything that's been going on. Um,
mm,
but we kind of, I did we ever touch on networking like ever in before third year? Because I do not remember it ever being mentioned.
I remember going to. Do you remember Yorkshire Games
Yeah.
Fest? We went to that. I think that was second year, towards the end of it, because it was February time. It usually is. I remember going to that, and then after, I think I might prompted to be honest, because I ended up everyone left after the Yorkshire Game Fest talks and stuff, and then they said that they had another event in the evening for BAFTA, and you could ask questions and stuff, and I was like, oh, I might go to that. So I remember dragging John with me. I was like, please, I don't want to go by myself. It's free, and he forced me to ask a question there in front of everyone, which was horrible. Would not
We've got
recommend.
to pick up
I was
John at all
shaking so much,
times.
like. And then after, like, everyone were coming up to me, so like people from the industry. So there was, gosh, there were so many people, but like a lot of people just came over and giving so much information. It was like, this is really wholesome. I am absolutely papping myself right now. So that was the introduction. I remember telling Marielle about it after, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you know, there's all these events and stuff." And I think that's when she was like, "Actually, I need to mention this because obviously no one's ever done
Yeah.
it, and like no one's brought it up." So you're welcome.
Sadie saved us all, as
I think I
always.
did. So I think that's why I felt so comfortable. Is like, well, these people are wanting to give you that
Yeah.
information, so it's like there's no harm in asking. And at the end of the day, the worst they're gonna say is no or just
Yeah.
ignore you. And if they're gonna ignore you, you don't want to talk to them
Yeah,
anyway.
that's true.
Like,
I I remember our first networking event. I used to go to with Sadie to these networking events, and I would not leave that woman's side. You would find me attached
Like
to her
Lee.
hip, like I was not moving. And it's shocking because like I'm really confident with like speaking to people, but I think just being in a room with a lot of people who are like so much older than you, who are like making games, and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm a bag. Like, I feel like if I start speaking to you, I'm a bag. So I was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. But as soon as I started going like on my own, like I went to a one in Liverpool on my own, and I was like, I'm gonna find one person, at least one person to speak to, and I found one person to speak to, and I was like, I'm sticking with you. I was like, you can introduce me to everyone. Like, so I think definitely going with someone does help, but don't be stuck in their pocket.
Well, that's another thing. Is like I like going by myself because I have to talk to
Yeah,
people, and I know that sounds like absolute hell for some people. But if you take someone who's not in games, that helps a
yeah,
lot because when I went with John, it was a matter of so like I was going around and they were like, "Oh, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a 3D prop artist. That's my like specialism." And then they'd ask John, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just in marketing me for someone else."
that's
He's
it.
like, "I'm just here to support her." And then because he didn't really have much to say, the conversation like went back on to
Yeah.
me. So like it's a little bit self-centered to like take someone who really doesn't care, but it works,
I think
and
that was the
you get
issue
that confidence
with us
then.
two going because it was like we were having to kind of like climb over each other to try and explain
Yeah.
like who we are. And I was like, this just feels awkward. Like, I'm just gonna go find some people to speak to, and I'd just find the lawyers in the room, and I'd be like, yep.
Yeah, same every time.
Every single time, you would always find me in a circle with the lawyers speaking about law. I don't know anything about law. It'd just be there, like, yeah.
There's the work in it, and I still like stood there like I know how to what happens when you buy a house. That's it. Like I'm smart.
We were all stood in a big circle at the seminar that we went to. Was it a Yuki? Was it Yuki?
Yeah, it was
And you,
Yuki. Yeah.
they were all speaking about law. Sadie comes in and goes, so what biscuit would you be? If you were a biscuit.
So, so that's my icebreaker question is to make the conversation not about games because I find people immediately kind of relax a little bit when
Definitely.
it's like, oh, thank God they're not here to talk about like getting a job and stuff. They're asking me a question about biscuits.
They just really care about
That
what
question's
biscuit I have.
evolved actually. No, it's your ride or die biscuit. It's like, what biscuit do you defend on the top of the hill to the rest of your life? Like, what is it? What?
I can't
And
even
it tells a
remember
lot
some of the
about a
answers
person.
that you got. I remember just standing there, just being like, yeah.
Oh, a bourbon. Every,
Hobnob,
you can tell a lot
chocolate
by a
hobnob was
biscuit,
a
right?
common one.
Hobnob, yeah. Jammy Dodgers, they're a common one. But I like the obscure ones where people are like, oh, this specific Polish type of biscuit. I'm like, please tell me more about this.
You're like, I want to have more of a conversation with you now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it breaks the ice, and it's like, what a weird question to ask. But it works. And if, like, everyone likes biscuits, like, even the vegan ones, like, people have come up and said, oh, I'm vegan, but I really like this kind of brand. It's like, tell me more. Like,
Just let me know about these biscuits, guys.
yeah, let me know. But this question's evolved now, and it's become what's your go-to meal deal? It's evolved, and again, it tells you a lot about a person. If someone likes a ham sandwich, a packet of ready salted crisps, and a bottle of water,
Pretty plain.
there's not really much substance
There's
there.
not
Like,
really much. However, if they like tuna, gotta be a,
we can have a conversation about
you've got
it.
to get to the root of why they like tuna.
Yeah, exactly. Or like if they're getting value for the money, these are the questions. One of the guys at work, he used it as his Tinder question, like to ask girls. And he said a woman messaged him like, "Oh yeah, it'd be a prawn mayo," and he's like, "Nah, I've been
Yeah,
off straight
no,
away."
can't be doing that. That's awful.
It's like, so I think that is a big thing of like networking. Have a really obscure question because that like prejudice that people might have being like, "Oh God, this person's coming to talk to me," is
Yeah.
a bit like,
Because I feel they
what?
can definitely spot when you're not in the industry, I think. Because you're usually the ones
Yeah.
who are stood there nervous. You're like, oh.
Yeah. like you don't know anyone. You go up and be like hi, and you're like trying to get yourself in this conversation, and they're just talking to each
Yeah,
other.
it's that. I
So
think
I
that's
think
the struggle. Like when you have to butt into the conversation, otherwise you're just never gonna have a
yeah,
conversation. So, I think find one person, speak to them, and they will introduce you to everyone. Like I got introduced to,
and have your question
and
ready.
have a question ready like that, or just be like top five pints, name them.
Yeah, just like something really bizarre where it's like I don't know. It's like I think you asked her like people's favorite games, which I think is a good question to a certain extent. Is like it's still on the topic of
Yeah,
games, which I know we are all in the industry. Well, trying to get in the industry, and everyone plays games or they work on games. But I think it's immediately going to be like, well, they're going to try and ask me now if I'm working on anything,
yeah,
and it's like it don't feel as not natural as such. It does feel natural to say it, but I think you want to kind of ease the tension from both of you.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to ask a stupid question. If they answer and they're not really interested, I know not to waste my
Yeah,
time, type thing.
that's the thing. I
But if they
think
answer
another
with a
thing is
bourbon, no, I'm gone.
just treat them like a human.
Yeah,
If you
basically.
make a
And
mistake and you feel like you're embarrassing yourself, they're probably not going to remember it anyway. So it's
yeah,
fine. Just embarrass
they're
yourself,
probably
do
just
what you got to do.
exactly. And then you've got the other side of it. Well, you're memorable then if you ask a silly question. So for Limit Break, I went for the opening ceremony for when I went. And I asked everyone what their favourite biscuit were, and after it ran a Slack like chat or whatever, and I'm like, it was lovely to meet everyone. I'm the woman who asked you all about biscuits, and everyone was like, oh yeah, I remember you. So
Like, that's the thing. Every time I've seen, like, when we've gone to places together, it's always like, you asked me what biscuit it was last time. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's like, and I forgot what your answer was, but can you
tell
tell
me
me again?
again.
Like, has it
I
changed?
think I think what made it easier when we went to Gamio was that Shaun the Sheep um, thing, and he was
Oh yeah,
making
the
us
model.
pose it, and he was going flirty, Emily pose it flirty, and I went.
That.
I think that made it easier, and I think I was chatting some man's head off about Resident Evil for about an hour, and he
Possibly.
was not even giving anything back. I was just like, no, right.
But that's what I would do, and just walking
Oh,
around and
Sadie is
ask silly
paused.
questions.
So overall, we've said that we would recommend uni, haven't we? We've said
Yeah.
I think so. It's also like a good life experience to have, I'd say. Like I don't know why. Just being completely
Yeah,
on
I
your
wish
own
I'd done
in a
that
different city. I'd
a little
also
bit.
recommend
Like,
always moving away from your hometown for
well,
uni.
that as well. But no, I do
Well,
stand
I
by
don't
like
wish that you had done
having
that
that
because I wouldn't
experience
have
of
met
moving
you
away. It's not
otherwise.
just more like the uni and stuff. It's more like the cultural stuff as well. It's like you learn a lot. Like there's a big difference, I imagine, between Liverpool and Leeds, apart
Yeah,
from the accent.
definitely. Like,
Oh,
to be honest, not
oh, the
really.
more you know.
I'd say that they look very
Oh,
similar. Leeds just looks like a bigger version. I'd say. Like, the difference
yeah,
is, I feel like there's a
I
lot more
understand.
posh people in Leeds than there is in Liverpool, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like
Like,
people do not come to Liverpool. Everyone's like,
you
I
come
am
away
not
to
going to
Leeds.
Liverpool. Understandable. I can't
I
wait
do
to go
think
back to
that's a
Leeds,
big thing. Is
guys.
like the cultural side of like little
Waiting.
customs. Like I think
Uh,
in Leeds, it's like obviously the accent is a big thing. So yeah,
yeah. And I'd
rightly
say
so.
yours is still the strongest accent there that I've heard. Like
It's
everyone
nothing.
thought my accent was strong, and I was like, my accent is not strong. If you come to Liverpool, it's not it. I
Yeah,
think
because
definitely
for
would
like
say
different
that
reasons. I
it was
think for me,
worth
I wouldn't have gone down the
going
route
to.
I have.
Um,
I think with like the environment and like props and stuff, I would have never touched it. So I think that's
yeah,
yeah, like
Yeah, because you did a whole shift,
Yeah,
didn't you? Like, of just like
my
from that
first
to
project for a
that. And
fold-up
then
chair, and
now you're
honestly,
just
I
like, I
had the
just want
best
to make
time
mundane
ever with
stuff.
it.
I just want to make fun things.
I'm glad that's my job.
Sadie is very good at making props, guys.
No,
You
it
got
was on
you
LinkedIn.
you
It
got
was
the
just
job
on
through,
there.
was it networking?
It was just
Or
literally within a week. Like, went
oh
for an
yeah, I
interview.
remember your
Well,
application
it wasn't even that,
process,
so I
and
got
I was
offered
like sat there like,
the interview on the Monday for the Thursday, went on Thursday, got sent back the art test the same day, did it in an hour, sent it, and then I found out on the following Monday I had the job. So, like, it's rapid.
it is.
But it's
I
a
think
good
that's like
scenic
dream
route at the
job.
moment because I'm
Obviously, you'd
still,
want to do it in games, but
yeah.
yeah, because it shows that you've been doing 3D modeling for like ages. I think as well
We
for
keep
another
doing
net,
it. This is
we've
what.
gone completely off uni, and now we're speaking about networking. It's like a completely different episode now. Another thing is don't be scared to show your portfolio. I am always terrified to show my portfolio at like networking events because I'm always like, oh my gosh, what if you just start ripping me? And I'm just there like, and you're like, never do
I will
art
do it
again.
though,
And I'm
if
like,
you want me
oh no. I can
to.
promise that was not going to happen. It's
I'll
not
ask
going to
you about a
happen.
biscuit and I'll ruin your life's work.
Do not approach Sadie.
But I think, yeah,
Yeah, just show it. Have something available for you to show it as well.
yeah. So we had like us work
We
on
did
a
QR codes,
PowerPoint
didn't we,
like
for our
cycling through, and then
exhibition?
we had like a QR code for all the social medias and stuff on, like showing
That
people
was
your work
such
and
an
actually having
intense
to
thing as well, because that was our
have
first time
people
doing
look at
something like
it.
that,
You're
wasn't
like,
it?
oh,
That's and then up into
oh
standard. I
no.
didn't know that like XR and
But
stuff were
again,
gonna
we
come
got
in
so much good
before we did that, so
like
I was
advice
like,
from
oh
them. Like
no.
that was really helpful.
It was. Yeah, the thing is,
Yeah,
people want to help you. I think it's a very much a community of everyone is kind of in the same boat of feeling like a bit
like they felt
introverted
like
and a
it
bit
as well.
awkward.
Yeah,
But like, people are genuinely like, most people are nice and want to help you. I've not met anyone who
yeah, same.
I have thought, oh, I don't like them when I've networked with them.
It's not my cup of
I
tea,
mean, obviously, you're
basically.
bound to. You're
I
always
think
going to
I've
meet
had
people
people
that
like
like
that
you are
where
going to
it's
be a
like
bit like,
they evidently
oh
don't want to
no.
talk to me. That's
Yeah,
fine, whatever.
but
Their loss, not mine.
yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
just go into network and thinking, oh, like, who cares if someone's going to
yeah.
perceive me bad? Like, people are going to make their judgment of, yeah, there's no point caring. Just go in.
It's
Just
a
go in
bit.
and be a mess like me and don't.
No,
But also don't feel like you have to be professional because most people there are not professional. Like, they're not going to speak to you as though you're in a job interview. I think that was a massive flaw that I had when
yeah,
I first started networking is I felt like I had to be like,
yeah, and
my
I
name's
think that's a
Emily, I
big
am this
thing.
age,
Like
I'm
with
from this
networking,
area,
is
here's my
like
portfolio, will you give me a
everyone's like,
job?
yeah,
No?
you're
Okay.
more likely to get a job and stuff. You're not. Let's be realistic. If they've met you, it's nice because they remember you in a way, but
Yeah.
don't go in being like,
Like,
I'm gonna get a job from this. It's very rare. It's like 1 in 100.
yeah, that's what I was saying I was saying to people at the Liverpool one that, like, my thing is I was going into these
No,
networking things thinking, I'm going to get a job through this. Most of the time,
yeah,
you're not. Will you meet people who maybe in the future will put you forward for a job? Maybe. But most of the
yeah.
time, it's just like getting yourself out there, like
Just like,
being a
it does help.
recognisable face. Does help if you've got bright coloured hair, guys. It does help.
Yeah.
And just,
It
I guess,
just be
just
a
be like
good
able to
person,
speak
I
to
think,
people,
is the
really.
route to go. It's
Which
like
is, it's
be
difficult,
good and
but
don't get too downhearted if people don't want to talk.
yeah,
And
genuine.
also, yeah, Yeah,
Because most of the time, because everyone's kind of in the same boat most of the time,
yeah,
like, people have
exactly.
just come from work.
And if they
Like,
don't
just
remember you,
don't take it
even
too
don't get
personal
disheartened
if
on that
someone
because
doesn't
I've
want to
had
speak
that
to you.
before. I went on a full night
Like,
out in Viaduct with some guys from Rockstar. They didn't remember me, but they were very drunk. So again, it's like, yeah, okay, they're not going to remember me. Sometimes that's fine as well.
yeah, like, I
You will
think I've had
remember
so
me
many
this
people who
time.
don't remember me, and I'm just like, oh, well, I'll reintroduce myself. You will remember me after this one. I, yeah, I think, like, everyone that I've met through networking is like they give you good advice and stuff. Like I got onto a game academy course from networking. I
Yeah,
luckily networked with someone
yeah. Well,
who
I
then
learnt
put me
about
forward
limit break
for it. So
with
people do
networking
want
in
to
Bradford, so
help you with that kind of
exactly.
stuff.
So it's
But
a bit of a domino.
I learned that from you.
Yeah, might as well.
We were sat in our dissertation
And I
class and you went,
wonder
"Oh, I'm
why you
joining
like had
this.
to
Why
hide
don't you
behind all the
join?" And
time
I was
because
like,
we're
"All right."
gasping about other things.
We were doing about 10
Yeah.
different things at
Give me a
once.
cherry latte, iced latte, please.
And then going to
Oh god.
Cafe Nero just being like, give me this.
Right, we've gone on
Oh,
another
still the
tangent.
best
Go
Latte,
back to
do
your
recommend to
question.
everyone.
Every time.
We are the worst people to have.
I'm saying yeah.
So the overall question is uni worth it? I'm saying yeah. I think it is worth it. I think it makes you into an
Yeah.
adult. Do I wish that we had learnt about networking prior? Yeah. So I think if you're in the stages of like, should I go to uni? Should I
Yeah.
not
Or
go to
even
uni?
before. I know
Yes,
you
but
can
also attend
I know a
networking
few
events
events,
during uni.
obviously like Leeds Game Toast and
Take
stuff.
me a
That's
drunken
in a
mess.
pub and it's like on an evenings, obviously. If you're under 18 you can't go, which is a bit of a bummer. Um but like Gamma Young stuff is any age, so
Yeah.
even if you're in college, you can still go to these events, which I've met a few people from when I went to Yorkshire Games Festival, not this year, last year. And a lot of them were college students, and it were like, oh yeah, I can tell you loads about like what to expect at uni and stuff. So
Yeah.
like, there's that side of it as well. It's like know that everyone will help you, no matter your age as well.
Yeah. That definitely, I think getting yourself out there earlier. Like, I wish that we had, well, you did do that. I wish that I had done that. Like, it took me about, I think I got into second year and then I made a, like, art account. I was
Yeah,
like, I don't want an art account. I don't want
yeah, you
anyone to
need
see
to
any
know
of my work.
something.
Get out of that mindset as well, otherwise you're not going to get a job. They have to see your portfolio. Also, just don't
Yeah,
take any criticism to
unless
heart when
someone's
you're
literally being like, I
at
don't like
uni.
that.
Just see it as like
Well, then you need to
constructive,
know why.
unless
What
like
would you change?
you have a
You
tutoring
need to
base.
question it as well. I think is a big thing.
Yeah, ask questions definitely. Like, I think we got lucky with our
Yes.
tutors because I think they could kind of see we did very different portfolios. Like, you did kind of like cute stuff, and then I was doing like
But I know,
pure gore.
I know
Just
that
like,
sounds
yeah, guys, here
brilliant,
you
but
go.
that works as well
Here's a woman
because
with
it's
no
different
jaw.
styles. You can see things that I couldn't see on mine, and vice versa. So I think don't be afraid to ask other artists as well. That even if you're doing completely different things, you're still gonna notice things. Yeah,
You're still
yeah,
artists, like you can still notice these things. Like we did
yeah. And I
our
did
final project. I can't remember. I did
ancient.
like
Oh, the fair.
mythology.
Well, I did two at the same time, didn't I? So I
You
had the
did.
fairy garden.
Was it fairy?
That was my. I would love to redo that. It's
The
and
fairy
I'd want to make
garden.
it look
Yeah,
realistic,
I remember the
not
fairy
stylized.
garden.
I can't bother. This is
Do
the issue.
it.
This is
Just do it
also
in your
another
spare
thing as well. Is like
time.
when you do start working full time and doing like that kind of thing all the time, you get home and you just don't want to. Like it's 10-hour days I'm doing, so I work 4 days a week and it's 10-hour days, so it's a
Yeah,
lot
it's like
to
just
then come
reminds you
home
of
and then like,
work.
Oh, I've got to look at a computer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be like this with my phone, but still,
You want to be away from the
it's a
computer?
different screen. It's a different screen.
Get 3DS Max
So,
away from
but
me.
like, it is quite hard now at this point to like, okay, I need to do a personal project, but yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
before you go to
and
uni,
have them
do
check
like
in.
just set yourself design briefs, or get your friend to set your design briefs. Like
Yeah.
so that way you have to work within it if your friend sets you it, because it's like, oh well, you've set it up. Like because in the industry, from what I
Yeah,
know, I don't work in the industry, but like uni, you get very
yeah.
tight design briefs. Like with Game
No, I
Academy, I've
actually
been
have
given
to.
like design briefs tight,
I would,
and then you have to be like, oh okay, I cannot go outside
yeah,
of
to have that
this.
freedom to do it.
I think our
So,
final year helped with that one the most.
yeah, and then the
Yeah, because the
steampunk
rest, the
project.
other two was just kind of like, go
So
off,
that
do
was
what you
in
want to do.
second year, and we had to work as
Yeah.
a group, and
Oh
we all
yeah, the
hate
steampunk
steampunk now.
project. Forgot about that one.
We hate. No, I think it's a
I
cool style.
cannot look at
I don't
anything
want personally ever
steampunk
make it again.
anymore. I'm like, please no. Yeah, like it. You guys do you
But
over
yeah,
there,
so
away from me. I'm not
enjoy
touching
being able to
that.
make
But
your own things. Also,
I
make them really
cannot.
small. Don't make them massive. If you go in like, I'm gonna make a full house and I'm gonna do like all the props in it, don't focus
Yeah,
on a very small room and keep it really tiny.
you're gonna be disappointed with yourself. Yeah, yeah. Like, don't.
You got
I
all
feel
these
like when you
ideas.
a common thing is obviously with art, like you set yourself such big projects and you're like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this, I'm gonna do all this, and I'm gonna do it within this time
Or you
frame. And
get
then
the
when you
other
don't
side
do
of
it, you're
it,
just like, oh
or
god, I
you
just
don't
feel
even start
disheartened. No, I
it.
don't
You have
even want
all
to do
these
it.
ideas. You write them all
So
down, plan everything out, and don't even start
set
it.
yourself small tasks.
That's a cool idea. I should do that sometime.
You just look at it in a
Where is
few
it?
months' time and go, oh yeah.
What am I doing? Yeah.
Just, I'd
Even
always
if
just
it's
say
just
as well, just
doodles and
keep
stuff, like it's better than no.
doing
And
art. Keep doing it. Because, yeah, like, I feel like when I started uni, I'd only do art for uni. And that's like a regret that I have. Because it's like, yeah, you have them stuff to put in your
yeah.
portfolio, but if you're not passionate about it, then they're going to be able to tell that you're not passionate about it. Like,
But like
it's like when you have to present something and you're just like, yeah, so,
quirky.
yeah. I got called
Oh,
quirky
I
during
hated
all of my
presenting.
presentations.
Nah, nah.
Quirky.
I'll talk to my brick wall.
I loved it, but I just
You
hated
like
showing my
quickly
work.
show the slides.
I
You're
was
like,
like, I love speaking to you all guys,
like,
but yes, flicking
let me
through.
just
I'm
waffle
just
on for a
like,
bit
yeah,
and stand in front of the
hi guys.
screen like this
Listen
so
to
you can't
me.
see it. Oh, sorry, I disconnected again.
Oh my gosh, the screen's broke. I'm
I'll
just
call
gonna
you
have
out.
to like speak. Yeah, just call me up. Great. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've kind of covered about
I feel sorry for
500
whoever's
different
edited it.
topics in one singular session.
Oh,
I also feel sorry for whoever's edited it. My
like,
gosh.
please have a natural break or
They're
something.
probably just going to be thinking, will these guys shut up?
She won't even hear half of it.
How are you
She'll
yapping for an
disconnect.
hour straight?
It's just me yapping to
But,
myself.
yeah, I disconnected for about half an hour.
Yeah. It's not even for me. I'm not with that.
Getting your parcel. Right, guys, so thank you for tuning in to the
Sadie.
Game Dev
Sorry
Local
if you want the full
podcast.
name.
I've been your host, Emily, joined with.
Oh gosh, everywhere. I'm like a rash. I'm
And
just
where can we
everywhere.
find yourself?
I know that's what I mean. So,
I'm in
for
your social
art
media.
themed things, it's Sadie's Art Box. So SADIESARTBOX. So that's me. I'm on ArtStation, Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. You can link with me if you want. Just I don't. Yeah, I'm there. I've got pink hair, just pink hair on that picture.
Same here, guys.
um, no, no, we've been evolving slowly. But
She
yeah,
wasn't
that's
quite
where I
at
am.
this stage at that
I'm
point.
trying to post more with like work that I'm actually doing. But we've got to wait until it's online on the sales avenues and stuff before I can post it. Which, weirdly enough, I
Yeah,
saw. Sorry, this is another tangent, but I like to be very
NDAs
proud
and
about little
stuff.
things like this. I was on TikTok and I saw my work on an advert on there, which was really surreal. Yeah, yeah. So the draws, they were on.
Is this
So
the one
yeah,
that you
it's
sent
really
to
surreal seeing
me?
my work actually on like B and Q
Yeah,
and
that was
stuff. It's
so
like I
good.
did that. That's me. You're welcome.
That's me. But
And if
definitely
anyone wants
give
to ask
Sadie a follow
anything, I
on
will
her art
reply. I
account.
like to
She has
talk.
very good art. It's shame, guys. If you want to find me, it is emily.art20.22 on Instagram and Emmy Hughes on ArtStation, which is EMEHUGHES.
In general.
Forgot how to spell my last name then. And then it's Emily Hughes. That's just on LinkedIn
What's
and
your
stuff.
favourite biscuit? You
Like,
can tell
connect
me
with
your
me.
answer. That's
You
all
can
I
ask
need
me
to know.
questions.
That
Don't know what questions you'd want to ask,
like
but
your favourite biscuit and what meal deal you'd have, and I'll judge
everyone
you.
tell her your
I will,
favourite
but
biscuit.
but I need to know these
She
things.
will be
That's all I need.
judgmental. Well, oh, well, thank you for joining me. Gosh, I'm just getting a phone call on my flat door. Thank you for
Am I the
joining me. This
pioneer
has
again?
been a
Oh no!
great first podcast. I hope that you're the first. You're the first. I hope
I'm
everyone's
sorry.
enjoyed us waffling. Watch us just never get uploaded. But it's fine. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Game Dev Local podcast. I'm your host, Emily. This is the lovely
Yeah.
Sadie.
Thank you
Hope
for
you
having
follow
me.
us and just chat with us.
Being 10 out of 10, would
Yeah,
podcast again.
pretty much done.
Honestly, we'll find somewhere.
Catch us like next week just chatting about something else. Find absolutely
Oh
anything, guys. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Bye. Bye.